Welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Schumacher LD3 stock spec, steps 17 and 18. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do is check to see if we need to trim any of this plastic. So there are no markings on the C-hubs to let you know which side they are for, but looks like this one here is going to be for the left side and this one is going to be for the right side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pre-thread the yokes, this particular hole right here. So we're going to take the M3x20 cap head screw and just thread it in all the way through the other side. And I'm just going to use a electric screwdriver to do that so I don't have to work so hard. And I'm going to do that for both of them. All right, we can set this M3x20 cap head screw to the side. We're going to use this again, so don't lose it. All right, so the control arms are not bi-directional. They do only work on one side, it looks like. So this is the left side one. As you can see, the back of the arm is pretty flat. On the front of the arm, it comes out towards the front. So that's how you'll know which side is the back and which side is the front. So this is the left side, and then this is going to be the right side one. I'm going to assemble these kind of the way they're shown in the manual. So I'm going to do the left side first, and we're going to install it. We're going to install the ball stud for the camber link first. So we're going to need this little spacer sprue, and we're going to use the A insert so we can get that off the parts tree. We're going to need 2 M3x10 button head screws. We're going to also need 2 of the pivot balls and some Loctite. Now this step is very important because I see a lot of people mess this up. So this is the outside of the vehicle. We want the spacer or insert with the hole facing the outside of the vehicle. So it's going to install in this orientation. All right, so see how the hole is over here where the hubs are going to install. So the hub's going to install here, so we want this hole facing the outside of the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and install the M3x10 button head screw, and we're going to apply some blue Loctite to that. And then we're going to go ahead and install the pivot ball. All right, snug it up. That Loctite will hold it in place. So there we go. So again, remember, this ball stud needs to be on the outside of the vehicle. A lot of times one side is on the outside and I see them build it and the other one's on the inside. So make sure they're on the same side for both sides. So again, the hole is facing the outside of the vehicle, which is over here. All right, so see how they're symmetrical? That's exactly what we want. Now I can move on. So we're gonna need two 1.5 millimeter black spacers. They're gonna come off of this parts tree here. This is just loose in the box, it's not in any bag. So the thinnest one that's on this parts tree is 1 millimeter. We're gonna use this one right above it, which is 1.5. So I'm gonna get these two off the parts tree and we can continue. All right, so this is the left side of the car. This is the front. Actually, let me move it this way. So this is the front of the car over here. This hub, this is the front with the ball stud facing forward. We're gonna install these pivot bushes into the arm, like so, one on each side. Now we can install the yoke. And we're gonna install the black spacer, the 1.5 millimeter spacer, in front of the yoke. This will give us a short wheelbase setting. Now we're gonna line up that hole that we pre-tapped. And now we're gonna install an M3 by 14 button head screw from the front. That'll go through the spacer. And we will install an M3 by 12 button head screw from the back side that will install just like so. And we don't want to over tighten this. The way I like to do this, it gives us a tip saying to tighten until the pivot bushes just touch the black spacer. It's already touching the black spacer, so what I like to do is I like to tighten the screw until the screw head touches the pivot bushing that we just installed. So once it touches, I call that good. You might need to play with how tight they are to make sure that everything moves nice and free like this. So now we can do the right hand side. So this is the left. So again, front of the vehicle, as you see this bend right here, ball stud faces the front. Install our pivot bushes. We're going to slide the yoke in and install our 1.5 millimeter spacer. Install the 14 millimeter screw from the front through the spacer into the yoke. And then the 12 millimeter screw from the back. So there we go, it moves under its own weight. So that's it for step 17. We have our left side and our right side. Now we can prepare the hubs and install them onto this assembly in step 18. We're going to use the M3 by 20 cap head screw from the previous step, and we're going to pre-thread or tap these holes here and here. We can do it in one go or we can, I think I'm just gonna do it from each side separately and then go about halfway in on both sides. And I'm gonna do that to both hubs. Looks like these hubs are directional. So this is the left side hub. See that there's like a flat here that's raised up. That's where looks like one of the steering components goes. It's going to be in the S2 bag. So we need these two pieces from the S2 bag. So these are now prepared. Let's install the steering links. So they're going to install like so. So it'll butt up to the shoulder here. We're going to use two M3x8 button head screws to install this onto the hub. Now we're going to install the ball studs on each one with a 1mm thick black alloy washer. Make sure you use the alloy one, not one from one of these parts trees. So we're going to install the 1mm alloy washer, and then we're going to install the ball stud from the same side we installed the screws, and then install this nylon nut. So we have our left side and our right side. Now we're going to need a 2mm black spacer and a 1mm black spacer for each side. So we can grab that off this parts tree. So this will be the 1mm spacer here and the 2mm spacer here. So let's do the left side first. We're going to use two M3x14 button head screws on each side. They included an M3x16 screw if we're going to use a different height, but we're going to use the kit setup right now. So I'll set the extra screws aside. We're going to install the pivot bushes in the yokes. So one there and one on the bottom. Then we're going to install the left side hub assembly in the yoke, and we're going to install 1mm spacer on the bottom with the M3x14 button head screw. And again, there's a tip saying just tighten the screw until the pivot bushes just touch the black spacer and not to over tighten them. Again, I just kind of make sure the head of the screw touches the pivot bushing, and then I call it good. And I mean, you can adjust it if you need to loosen it up a little bit, you can loosen it up. Now we're going to install the 2mm spacer on top, and then install the 3x14 button head screw. All right, I think the plastic spacers and the yokes are a little tight. And I think a little bit over time they'll wear in, but I think the yokes are a little collapsed and the spacers are squished a little bit. So since it's not part of the suspension really, I think it'll be fine. Not that tight, but it doesn't move as freely as I would like, but hopefully after a few runs it'll start to bed in a bit and hopefully free up. Let's do the other side. All right, this side's a little tight too. I think over a few runs it'll loosen up. It's not that tight where I'm not concerned. I think it'll wear in a little bit. I don't want to start sanding and creating unnecessary play. I think once it beds in, it'll be perfectly fine. So we have our right side and our left side. That's it for steps 17 and 18. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or any tips or tricks for this step. I'd love to hear them. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.